Oh, okay.
What was his greatest asset?
I don't know.
He was
I guess
the crazy fucking dude in Backstreet Boys that was like going all hard, but nobody really liked him. No one really liked him.
You're like the bad. They're like the bad boy of the group.
I don't know if I'm the bad boy. Tandy's more like the bad boy.
What? As hard as I work to maintain a reputation of not being that, I think I take offense.
I'm not the bad boy.
But you know. Go ahead.
Oh. Everybody back.
I know.
I'm gonna cue the music so we can start the show.
Do that.
Always. I eat beats, watch me dining.
Why am I looking at pictures of Backstreet Boys?
Yeah.
That's the dude. That's John.
Yeah, that's me. I don't believe that's me, but I think that's how people see me. I'll be the crazy dude.
Well, to everybody out there, I want you to pull up a picture of the Backstreet Boys. Pick the one you identify with. Keep that in mind as you watch the Can't Tell Us Nothing show, which is what you're tuned into right now. Can't Tell Us Nothing show, everybody. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the air horn. Is that a real sound, like, in the world?
Of course it is. Of course.
Like, I'm talking about outside of, like, music tracks. Like, was that used in machinery industry somewhere? Does that indicate something horrible happening? Something great happening?
I think it's an
the ship is capsizing. Like, what?
Does no one like the air horn?
I think if I were walking around like downtown Houston and I heard that, I would kind of be tempted to walk towards it to see actually what was going on and not away from it.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
Okay.
It sounds like a party.
It sounds like a party. Well, what else sounds like a party is Can't Tell Us Nothing show. I'll get back to the intro. In that party, you might find John, you might find Amici, you might find Tandy, you might find myself, Antoine, improv group out of Houston, Texas. And by improv, I mean we take opinions, discussions, topics, and make up scenes out of it. Just make it up out of thin air. We don't even know what we're going to do until we get so inspired that we create characters in a world out of nothing. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes we're joined by special guests. Today, you can see it. We got a couple of people in this room.
Oh yeah. I will gladly introduce this. So I did a class recently called Earning Your Absurdity. It was a brainchild of a lot of the improv journey I've been on and tools and devices and skills I picked up. And I was gracious to have students want to join that class and have some fun with it. And in that class, these four lovely people were some of the few that got to jump on our podcast and show their skills, let us know who they are and their interests, and just have fun on the pod. You know, something I thought would be an awesome way to do an in-class show, knowing that I couldn't provide them with a stage to do a show on. This could be the stage. So shout out to Ronnie, Astrid, Dara, and Adam. Let's go.
What's up?
And they also were very consistent. They showed up. So some of the stuff is you have to show up. If you showed up, you enjoyed, you challenged yourself, you know, you were engaged, and you just tried to do your best. Man, let's go. Let's jump on this show. Let's have some fun. So these are some of those individuals that were doing that, and boom, we're here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yes, thanks for coming.
Just to let not only my group, but some of the listeners, you guys can just share with us what was not necessarily the class like, but what has this year been like, having no physical improv, and then now you see this class that pops up. Like, what's going through your head during COVID as an improviser, somebody who wants to find a stage? You know, anybody?
Yeah, I ended up working at a middle school this year, and so really the only improv that I did was in the middle school cafeteria with the students, and they didn't really know that they were doing improv with me. So that's probably the closest that I got to it. So to have this opportunity to be back in person with adults was a whole lot better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would think kids should be the most purest improvisers on the planet, but they don't understand it's improv, which makes them probably terrible at the same time. If only they knew, hey, I could do this and it's a real thing, right? They would be geniuses at it. They do it all the time. But it's interesting you said that. Yeah. What about you, Adam? What you think? What was your?
For me, I just miss actually being around people and performing because my job doesn't allow me to work from home. So I was actually at work this whole time, but a lot of the people I work with got to work from home. So the minimal people I actually got to work with probably got sick and tired of me just attempting to act a fool sometimes because I didn't really have a place, like an outlet to do anything with, right? So it's nice just to actually be in person and back around people to perform and just see everyone again.
Yeah.
I want to highlight that word he said, outlet. I deeply believe people need a creative outlet in their life somewhere. And if you don't have it, it's just going to burst out of you at work or something. So
yeah, you're going to start break dancing at work because somebody played a song and you're like, why haven't I been dancing this whole time? What am I printing shit off for? I should be dancing. I think creativity for me, even as a young child, helped me process my emotions. Like even if that was at the least, right? If I was very emotional to the point where you couldn't really say anything to somebody without it becoming just a bunch of negative thoughts, right? I could just literally go to my room, paint, draw, write, or I used to do comics. I would draw and come up with characters and do comics. And I remember after 2 hours of focusing on that, whatever I was upset about had just transferred into what I was doing. And everybody that I'd hated, I forgot about why I hated them, right? Of course, until you get older. But I mean, I recognize that even at a young age, right?
Then you remember all those people you hated, like when they came back to you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember
that guy. You just get one of those vibes from people you seen, like old teachers. You're like, you're cool now, but I really hated your ass. But you're cool, so I like you now. Dope.
Gosh,
What about you, Ronnie?
Well, actually, I got to kind of keep doing improv during some of the pandemic. Down by where I live, there's a community theater, and they had a little kind of class get together. There was a guy who I guess he did kind of improv, and he said, "Hey, I'll put on a adult class." And so me and some other folks from Station kind of made it over there, and then there were some other people that were not necessarily improvisers, but they wanted to learn. And it was a lot more short form kind of based, but so it was different than what we were learning at Station. But it was fun. So we got to keep doing it. We were doing it with masks on, so it was a little weird. But it allowed me to kind of keep doing that on the side. And I fully agree with everybody else about the kind of having something that you can go and have that creative outlet. It was good to keep that going like we did.
Yeah.
That's wild. Did you guys put on shows or was it only class and rehearsal?
We did do one show. So it was back a couple months ago, and it was like everybody had been vaccinated, and we were finally at that point where we could go without the masks, and the audience still had masks on, but we actually did a little show at the community theater, and we just did kind of like the short form games.
And people came out, and people came out to watch it.
Yeah, it was our family members. So yeah, a lot of those people came. It wasn't very well advertised. Exactly. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The people wanted entertainment. They didn't care.
Yep.
Yeah, I think people are ready just to get out of their houses. Like, especially now, I just think they're ready to get out and start seeing stuff again.
That's right.
I
went to the movies and there's I went and saw Fast and Furious. I didn't even want to see it. I just wanted to get out of my house and just see something.
I love it, man.
Fast and Furious. We don't care if you like it. Just get out of your house.
Adam was furious watching it. He was just, "Ugh, something.
It's something.
I can't leave too soon. I need to sit through this. No, I agree with you, man. You know, for anybody, I don't know if you remember me saying this. I say it all the time. I like bad movies. I host bad movie parties. Bad movies. I think the stock of bad movies went up during COVID because people had I saw a tweet that said somebody just beat Netflix, right? Like they watched every movie they could watch on Netflix, except for all the bad ones. The bad ones, there's so many of them that have terrible plots that if you want some pure entertainment, right? It's like going to see, well, I'm not going to say that. I just like it as a form of entertainment. It's so unpredictable. They're terrible. But when you get groups of people together, they seem to all become entertained by this terrible movie that we're watching. So I dove into that a lot deeper and started coming out with some incredibly bad movies that I wouldn't even have got time to go to had COVID not happened.
So does Netflix have a category bad movies?
I don't think they do. And I don't think so, but I thought about it. Would that offend you as a director if your movies kept getting put in a bad movie genre?
Probably initially, but if over time I'm like a cult classically bad movie, then I'm cool with that. But at first, that would hurt my feelings because I didn't set out. Do you think people set out to make bad ones?
No,
I don't.
I think they set out. Yeah, I think they set out to make money. I think somewhere along those lines is where you get the bad ones. Where I don't even care. Just get it done.
Whatever.
We can't lose any more money on this movie. Finish it, and then they put it out.
That movie that was made. There's that movie made about it, right? The guy who didn't want to make the bad. You want to make a good movie was with James Franco, right?
Yes, it was called Disaster Movie. They made a movie about a bad movie that was made.
Yeah.
That still is not as good as watching the original terrible movie. I think it made more context. It made it funnier to me personally. Those kinds of movies, disaster movies. Yeah, that's what the genre should be called, disaster movies.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound
box office bombs.
That's just terrible.
TV. Yeah,
I can't remember the name of the movie company, but there's like Toxic Avenger and movies like that. I mean, they know they're kind of cheesy and low budget, but they still attract an audience and they still make money, and they know their audience, so they know they can make it kind of cheesy, but people will still see it. And I think they kind of found their little niche there. Just, hey, our movies aren't going to be the greatest, they're not going to be the biggest budget, but they're just, people are still going to come see them, even if it's straight to video or on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, it's niche. And see, a movie like that, I've seen clips of Toxic Avenger. I don't think I'll ever watch a full movie. I don't know, but I kind of put those movies in the same category as South Park. South Park isn't trying to make a good-looking show necessarily, right? The animation, it looks very cheap, at least in the early on, and they know it, and they went with it because that was their thing. And like you said, John, even the beginning of the show, they're the impressions they use are horrible. They're not trying to do good celebrity impressions, and they tell you right off the top. But it's a good show at the end of the day. It achieves what they went out to achieve,
and more sometimes. More.
There are movies that also are just knockoffs of a really popular one. Star Wars will come out, and then Star Battles, skirmishes.
Yeah, Star Skirmishes. That sounds like Patrice Neal has a joke about how bad the Sci-Fi Channel's title names were, and then said that they would take a popular movie's title and they would just make it so plain and simple. Instead of Jurassic Park, they would say Dinosaur. What do they call it? Dinosaur Garden or Dinosaur Fort or something like that. Or a man getting chased by dinosaurs, something like that, right? That's what that reminds me of. I hate those types of movies. I think I think the title is a part of the entertainment of the movie, right? So if you if you make a basic, for example, RoboCop, right? If they would have called it Robotic Cop, right? That would have been a terrible name. It would have been a terrible name. And it would have skewed how you watched it. You would have been like, man, that movie was pretty dope. Why the fuck did they name it Robotic Cop?
Mm-hmm.
But RoboCop is basically the same thing. It just has a better, sound to it.
Rolls off the tongue.
Rolls off the tongue, even though it's literally the same exact premise. Robotic Cop.
we cut to a kind of like a writer's room, office table sort of situation. A bunch of people sitting around a table. Towards that, all right, guys. We can't put this off any longer. We filmed the movie. It is done. We just need a title. So we got to start putting our heads together here and think about what should this movie be called. Remember, we want to make it splash at the box office. We want to excite people's imagination. Let's think about what this movie's about, the message of it. Let's find a title that just really hits you right where it needs to be hit.
It's just, we did a lot of rewrites, so a lot of things that would change from the original concept. Can we just go over what the final film turned out to be before we, name it? I think that'll help.
I mean,
more context.
We've been working day and night on this film. We all know it. Yeah, rewrites happen. We have to make changes.
Sorry, guys, I brought the coffee. I was late. I thought we were going to be done way earlier than this, but apologize. I'm here.
Yeah, this is the last piece of the puzzle, John. It's the last piece of the puzzle. We just need a name for this movie. That is it, and then we can get it out to the movie theaters, to people's homes, maybe Netflix.
What if we call it Last Movie Ever?
It's not bad.
Last movie ever. Yeah. How does that tie into the story of the movie?
I don't think it does, but I think it'll make people want to go see it.
Yeah, but it's the last movie. I mean, it's the last chance to get out of your house, right? I mean, some people will just go to see that.
I mean, think about the marketing, right? We just put up a bunch of billboards that says, get in line right now for the last movie ever, right? Boom.
Well, this is just my thought is if we start running an ad, like a big ad campaign like that, do you think it would cause fear in people? Like they may start going out and, maybe doing other stuff instead of going to the movie.
You think that no one's going to watch the movie after?
Like they're saying this is the last movie ever. Like what's going to happen before that like I need to get done. You know what I mean?
Oh, you think they're going to put it off until they're finally ready to sit down and watch the last movie ever?
Yeah, because to me, when I see last movie ever billboards, I'm like, they know something. Like they know something's going to happen. Like I would go out and see my family, hang out with them, and then like, okay, I'm ready to see this movie, and then afterwards, obviously, world probably going to end.
I think Adam is on a good point here. I feel like we're sending a weird message to our possible fans.
We cut to 2 weeks later. They did do that. They did Last Movie Ever, and nobody went to see it. Made $0 at the box office.
Well,
all right, guys. It looks like everybody did go and do everything else instead of going to see our movie.
Guys, we made $0 at the. That means none of us went to go watch the movie either.
Why? We had stuff to do.
Man, my grandmother called me and told me that I needed to come over and help her because she thought the world was going to end. It was a terrible idea, man. It was a terrible idea. Why did you let us do that, Antoine?
I didn't. I tried to tell you guys.
You're running this thing, man. We're just writers.
Yeah, you said Adam had the best idea, and we're gonna go with that idea.
We need to make a movie to fix this. Then we need to make it. That's why I brought Ronnie in to help us out here. We need to make a movie to fix this mistake because now everybody thinking the world is going to end any day now, and it's chaos out there.
Ronnie, you still making them old those Lifetime movies, man? You still ever making them Lifetime movies?
I think that's what we need: a feel-good Lifetime movie.
Right. No, I mean I think that's the direction we need to take this. So I mean, Last Movie Ever was a little bit much to put on the audience, but what they want to see, just as based on my experience at least, has been, that dark boyfriend, right? the one that you just, he's
you say dark boyfriend?
The dark boyfriend. That's right. The one that she just can't trust. He's got the past that we don't understand. We need that character, in this movie to really bring the finality, right?
I gotta ask, is he literally dark?
Yeah. I mean, he's got a trench coat on. He's in the darkness. He's in the shadows. He comes from a dark place.
He comes from a dark place.
Yes.
Are his family members dark as well? I'm really fascinated now about this boyfriend.
Yeah. No, I think that he had a rough upbringing. I mean, that's where his where the problem started. I mean, he probably had a not a good role model for a dad, if there was one. I don't know. I mean, this is all stuff we can explore when we start the writing process.
What if we had, I know the dark boyfriend in the city. What if there's a country boy who's going to teach her the true meaning of Christmas, and they can just move out to,
yes,
bring in some lightness, kind of the opposite of the last movie ever.
Yes, I agree. We got to do that.
What if both of them were like the two angels that sat on her shoulders? It was like the ex dark bad boyfriend versus the Christmas light good boyfriend. I think we got something there, guys.
I like it.
That's sounding good to me.
Well, then let's. We got to think of a title for this. I don't want to get into the same issue we got into last time.
How about the last good movie ever?
Yeah,
John.
We didn't clarify it was a good movie. Maybe they thought, why waste my time at the end of the life watching a random movie?
The only way to get past what we did last time, and this will be a long title, but it's just going to be all the happy adjectives you can think of. It's going to be called like happy, joy, good, luck, etc. A bunch of long happy words movie. Just so people know, this is going to be a happy movie. I'm going to feel good leaving it. World's not ending, obviously.
A lot of adjectives.
Just a bunch of positive adjectives. The movie.
That's just me, though, Lynn.
I just brought donuts here for you guys, and I couldn't help but overhear. But it just sounds like you're doing a thesaurus, and that's cool. How about the last good movie, the sequel, or the good last movie?
That's good, guys. This is our audience. Okay, listen to the customer. Listen to the customer.
We cut to two people outside of a movie theater looking at the movie poster of this movie, trying to read the title.
What's wrong, baby?
Well, there's so many words. Not only you have to stand here and then walk around to the side to see the rest of the poster.
Yeah, I don't know what Hollywood's doing nowadays, man. I mean, they doing anything.
Overkill. I think it's overkill. They're putting all this happy, joy, fantastic, amazing, stupendous, wonderful.
Yeah.
I can't even read the rest on the other side. But that must mean that the movie's bad. I think that they're just trying to ladle on all of this stuff to try to cover up. It's probably from that same stupid company that made the last movie ever. And they're trying to recoup their money.
I know. And by the way, I'm sorry for saying I wanted a divorce because I thought the world was going to end.
And scene. I'm sorry for saying I wanted to. Still apologizing.
Because of the movie. I mean, you be apologizing for life. This fool left me over a movie.